Thank you, Jesus. Jesus. Where I am now, better than before. Through those open doors, where I am now. Where I am now, I'm in a special place. I tell you all the praise. Where I am now. It's now time for the most talked about radio show in the whole wide world. That's FYI Radio Show with your host, Miss Yolanda, the Lady Hnton. I'm Ed Everett, the co-host. The music that you hear in the background is none other than Miss Yolanda, the Lady Hnton, where I am now. And if you'd like to see us live in WGPL 1350 studio or WMVA 88.9 FM studio, all you have to do is go to Edward Everett's Facebook page, Miss Yolanda, the Lady Hnton Facebook page, and guess what? You can see us live right here in the studio. And if you want to hear us all over the world, all you have to do is go to 1350 AM, 1400am.com, click and listen live. And now I want to introduce to some and present to others the host of the most talked about radio show in the whole wide world, Miss Yolanda, the Lady Hnton, and a pleasant good morning to you.
Good morning, Mr. E. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
Would you, could you, will you be my neighbor?
Let's welcome our neighbors. Let's welcome WGPL 1350 AM listeners.
Peace, 95.3 FM, WPCE 1400 AM, WMVA 88.9 FM.
Facebook Live is on and popping. Let's also welcome Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Instagram. Make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe. We'll shout you out later on in the show.
Like, share, comment, and subscribe.
Like, share, comment, subscribe. Go to YouTube at FYI Radio Show. Host Yolanda Hnton. And you can always go to Crystal Records 1, CRISTO Records 1. Make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe. And we promise we'll shout you out.
You promise?
Promise.
Shout.
Mr. E.
Yes.
What day is it today?
Today is hump day.
That's cute. But I don't know, Mr. E. We may need another hump day later on. That was a real one, but usually I'm just almost, it's like a rocket. I'm like Gail, almost going to the wherever she's going. Going to space, brother.
Speaking of Gail, did you see her take a picture for the spaceship, the space her and the girl?
She's ready. She's getting ready. She's not as scared as she was. She scared me. I mean, she was like frightened, Mr. E.
They told her to hold a straight face, don't smile. And she had to put a signature smile out there.
Well, it's 11 women going, and I mean, they're going to make history. We pray for, a successful journey up there, beyond, and back. So I don't want to go.
That's right.
And a lot of people are saying that, but hey, she says she wants to do something different because she just crossed into her 70s. She wants to, leave this world with, some history behind it.
Why do people do crazy stuff when they cross over?
I don't know. 70s, is a time I believe that people, they do great fates. They do, great things. So maybe this is her 70, time for doing some great things.
Oh, it's her wish list. Yeah.
That's right. It's on her bucket list. Going to, where they going, Miss E?
Is they going to Mars?
I know they're going up and beyond. But anyway, it's Hump Day, Mr. E. It's FYI's Wednesday segment. What's under the hat? issues concerning you men.
That's what it's all about. A lot of folk want to know what makes these brotherhoods tick, what makes men run, and how we do things, and whether or not we have any emotions or not.
Mr. E, what you call was telling all the tea in China.
Well,
Steve Harvey was telling all y'all business. Well, I think he need to come out with another book. Let us know a little bit more about y'all.
If I take your money, won't you tell it too?
Who?
every woman on the planet. If I take your money, and because he had so many, how many? 4 divorces?
All right, now we're not gonna get into his tea. Guess why? Because we got a great topic. It's why. It's not just why, but it's father and son relationship. And why father and son relationships are complicated. First of all, there are some great fathers out here, great sons, great, a great union and things like that. But it can be quite complicated from my eyeballs and what I've seen and heard and observed and everything, Mr. E. But the father and sons often experience misunderstanding, sometimes stemming from generational gaps, different expectations and varying emotions. Sometimes sons might feel their fathers are too rigid or out of touch. And while fathers may struggle to understand their sons' evolving worlds and emotional needs can be different.
When we got this topic about fathers and sons relationship, I said to myself, wow, what a great topic, because we are such as father and sons. If you look at father and sons, Miss Hnton, they go back and try to dominate daddy's territory.
We're going to start out with talking about dominating territory.
Because you said in this statement that fathers and sons has a generational gap and they can experience some misunderstanding. They have emotional needs and they do struggle, with relationship. My son and I, Isaiah and I have a great relationship. I love that boy. Ed and I, we have a great relationship. But sometimes, when you are, when you're trying to teach your sons or your sons don't want to listen to what you have to say, that makes it rigid, it makes it rocky, make it, when they don't understand, but they're too ashamed to come and sit down and be men.
Well, let's talk about generational differences. Fathers may struggle to understand the technology, trends, and social norms of their sons, leading to disconnects and perceived lack of understanding.
That's right.
And so, the generation gap is the way you all see things.
That's
you see things differently. You've been brought up differently. How you were brought up, could be a little different than how you brought him up.
That's right. A lot of people say when they have their children or have their sons, they're not going to bring their sons like they daddy that they was brought up.
They always say that, but people usually tend to be exactly like their parents eventually. You may say, well, I'm not going to be like my dad, and you have a son, and down the line, you can see yourself being just like your daddy, thinking the way he thought, doing things just like him, but not seeing it. And sometimes sons see it and they stand up, kind of like against it. But the father at times don't see what they're saying. They just figured they're right. A lot of fathers just feel like, well, I'm just right because I'm your father, or I'm just right because I feel like I'm just right. And then sometimes that younger generation looks and say, no, but this is how it is, or this is the way I see it, and this is the way I want to do it. And it's like the father will say, well, no, you can't do it that way. Did you ever see the movie called Fences? Denzel Washington and Viola Davis was in it. It is a perfect example about a relationship between a father and son that just couldn't get right.
Ms. Hnton, when you say that, when you look at the father and son's relationship and look at the generational that one may come in, sometimes sons feel, sometimes generational gap at the way they are brought up and the environment they may be in. when they said, okay, this generation, we doing it this way
Yes.
and not the way that y'all did it back in the days of old. Can you imagine how that makes daddy feel when you say, well, you're going to do it this way and not that way?
Yes, but this is the thing I see is when a father think he's right and when a son think he's right. You know, the father, you can't tell the father he's not right, and you can't tell the son nothing either. Both of them have that same attitude, and they cannot, get together for nothing to just see how they can blend or make the situation different. It's like a stubbornness between both.
Well, they're images of each other. They got the same spirit. They part. The son is like the father, and the father is like the son,
And can't see it.
and they can't see it. But they see that's why they said in the scriptures, "I and my father are one."
But anyway, let's talk about the emotional expression. Sons may find it difficult to express their emotions openly with their fathers, who may be more reserved or focused on practical matters.
That's right. That's right. See what happens is the emotional side, because somebody done told daddy back in his generation that you can't have an emotional side.
Mhm.
You're not a man if you're emotional. But here the son has realized that he can be emotional, that because the son share that emotional moment because he looking at both sides of it. He wasn't brought up in the air that daddy was brought up in. So when you see a son that's very emotional, it kind of frightens or frighten daddy because daddy don't know how to react to the emotional side because he was so taught up that you're not a man
If you show
if you show
feelings,
feelings.
if you show fear,
That's right.
feelings, if you cry, a man
If
is
you
not supposed
cry,
to cry.
if you don't give up, you supposed to be stern, man. Don't you do that? But you got to remember, we have to understand. Men have to understand that the things are changing.
Absolutely. What about Mr. E? What about the pressure of a son to have to be like the father?
Woo!
Oh, you should be like more like your father, or a father wants to style that child to be him.
He can't be. You're gonna have trouble when you style a child to be just like you. You're gonna have trouble because he's not gonna do. He's not you. He's a different model than you are. He got some of your traits, but he can never be you. Well, this is the way I do things, so you need to do things this way. Well, you got to, fathers have to remember, men and women has to remember that things are, they find easier ways to do things. I used to tell my son, this is the way you turn a wrench.
Mm.
This is the way you hold a hammer.
Mm-hmm.
And the way I hold a hammer may not be the way that he holds a hammer. He got to feel how the hammer feel in his hand, and learn. My son didn't know. I did not know lefty loosey, righty tighty. And
What's that?
when you unscrew a screw, you turn it to the left, you loosen it, or you turn it to the right. I had to feel and fumble. I messed up a lot of heads on a screw trying to unscrew something instead of knowing that lefty loosey, righty tighty.
Well, Mr. E, it seems like it's pressure to me when you want a child to meet your expectations and you kind of like stifle what they are and who they are. A son may say, listen, I want to go to college. And way back in the day, they used to say, well, college education, you don't need no education. You better come out here and farm. Stop school. Don't do. And that, how could, I can't imagine how a son would feel if you want to be something and your father wants you to be something else. You're born to be something, but your father wants you to be something else.
That's right. I saw this movie called Go. And when I looked at this on Netflix called Go, I saw where the family members, the older brother of the family, told the younger brother who went off to college, he said, now you brought this on the family. So the pressure that because you want to go to college, you now put the pressure on the family because you got to go.
Well, it wasn't just a college thing. It was a thing that he committed a crime, and that son, that older brother, told him to walk away as though you didn't do
That's
it,
right.
and it caused such a term
Mentally too.
yes, into that family. What about the need for independence? It comes to a point where a son is ready to fly. He's ready to do his things. Some sons come up early wanting to think on their own. They don't just start, they're 25 and they want to think, and do. Some of them come up young, very young. You find them 3, 4, 5 years old, want to make decisions. That's what we are. We make choices in life. But I'm saying, even as they begin to grow, they are kind of like made sure that, hey, you just better conform to what I want you to do, how I want you to act. You don't have a voice, and that becomes a problem in relationship with communication. When a child or a teen or a young adult does not have a voice in a relationship.
One thing father has to know, and good fathers has to understand that boy gonna grow up.
Mm-hmm.
And when that son grows up, he cannot be like you want him to be when he was yet young. You have brought him all the way to a rightful age. You put into him all the wisdom and the knowledge and the skill level until he got to the rightful age where he wants to fly out of the nest. And we have to look at the age of a young man. We have to look at how old is it when a young man starts feeling like he's ready to fly. Some young men can mature at the age of 16.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And we looking at the age, and daddies are looking at the age and not looking at the growth of the young man, of how he had to do this. I was still, when Isaiah, my son, I can speak for myself. I was still being daddy, hardcore daddy,
Mm-hmm.
when Isaiah was a senior in school.
You said hardcore.
Hardcore.
Mm-hmm.
I had to really check myself, because now he has matured, and now he is growing up. He had a little girlfriend trying to run after him, and he's trying to make sound decisions. And I'm trying to make decisions for himself. Him as well. So you got to check yourself, because now with those children, those men children started growing up, you got to sit back and then evaluate and really, daddies, let go.
When a son becomes a man, you've got to treat him as a man. He's no longer a little boy. And so he has the right to make decisions on his own. Actually, he wants freedom anyway.
That's right.
You hear children all the time say, I can't wait till I get 18 to get out of here.
That's right.
Because a lot of times the rules and regulations, like you said, can be rigid.
That's right.
And sometimes they are, like I said, their voices can't be heard. You don't have an opinion. I don't want you to talk. Don't talk back to me. Don't do this. Don't, even if you're right, don't talk back to me, and don't point out my wrong. That's right. A father has a problem with that, but they want their freedom, and they are comfortable with leading their lives. They want to lead their lives. But also the difference in communication styles. Fathers may communicate in a way that sons find unhelpful or dismissive. Oh my God. Sometimes as, when you're a child, you really don't want to hear your fingers go in your ear. You don't even want to hear, anything helpful. You don't want to hear anything from your parents. And that could also make the relationship take the worst turn.
That's right. They can make it rigid too, because you done made your decision of how you going to do it. And he's so busy, daddy is so busy trying to tell you his way. And
sometimes the truth.
That's right. And then sometimes you trying to figure this thing out, and you want to do it your way. It gets on my nerves. I and Isaiah, because I can talk about my son. I was tearing down a shed, knocking it down on this weekend just passed. And the way that I was doing it wasn't the way that Isaiah would have done it. And I had to put the brakes on Isaiah and say, "This is my shed."
Right or wrong, you're gonna do it your way.
I do it my way.
Yes.
You know, Miss Hnton, I want to open up the phone lines and see if any men out there would like to chime in with us and let's talk about this thing, fathers and son relationship. So the telephone number is 757-624-9475. That's the telephone number to dial so that we can get clearer understanding and better understanding so daddies and sons can work together.
Okay, it talks about past experiences and values. Sons may not fully appreciate the challenges and values that shape their father's worldview, leading to misunderstandings and disagreement. They may feel like, hey, that's old time.
That's right.
That I don't go to church. I don't do that, or I don't. I rather shack up, or I rather, There's some things that a son in this generation, or before the father has that influence. They want to do things a certain way.
That's right.
But we talk about emotional needs. Sons may not realize that their fathers also have emotional needs. Sometimes if you have a stern father, or if you have a father, period, you may look at him as he's like the authority and he's rigid and can't be moved and can't, don't need love or anything like that.
That's right.
And so, sometimes it leads to a lack of sympathy, empathy, or even knowing your dad's story.
That's right. Sometimes when you see dads who you think is so hardcore, don't have no emotional side, what he does, he walks away and he gets to himself and he really let it out amongst himself. But he said, a stern dad would say, I can never let my son see me cry.
But you know what? Sometimes dad don't admit when they're wrong.
That's right.
That's one of the biggest problems because, he know he's wrong, but he won't admit to it because of his pride. And so, that can mess up either on each side. The son may have that same thing about him. It's like, oh, well, look, I'm going to sweep this under the rug. But, it really becomes a problem when you find, a father who will not say that he's wrong for nothing in the world. That could be just as wrong as he could be.
But, the thing about it, you might see that he's wrong. The son might see that is wrong. But daddy said, I'm the man. I'm the daddy. I'm the big boss. And what I do, I'm right. I'm right in his way.
That's really sad because that's what breaks down these relationships.
That's
is
right.
When you
that's
cannot
right.
admit, I'm wrong, I made a mistake, instead you want that front of I'm invincible, I'm the man, I do, and so what it does, it brings that thing between the son and the father, and it just gets bigger. It can get bigger and bigger.
I want to say good morning to Miss Sheila Robbins, Miss Carol Scott. Thank you so much for tuning in to the most talked about radio show in the whole wide world. Thank you all so very, very much. The telephone number to dial is 757-624-9475 for them who like to chime in. When daddies are wrong, why is it so hard, Ms. Hnton, for him to admit that he's wrong? Do you think he'll lose a lot of his authority, his power when he makes a mistake?
Yeah, I think pride is a part of it, Mr. E. We're going to the phone lines.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. How you doing?
Wonderful. Turn your radio down, please.
Yes.
My radio is down.
Okay, go ahead.
I love the topic that y'all having on today because I'm a single father and I have a bond with my son, and it's good to admit to your son that hey, you have done something wrong, and also that you basically apologize, and it's okay to cry. And it's okay to admit to your mistake.
Absolutely. Thank
you so much.
Thank you so much. That is so key that, that you look at yourself and say, wait a minute, I made a mistake. I got to let them know, hey, I was wrong this time.
Yeah.
But also, on the other side of that, Mr. E, sons may not fully understand that the role that the father plays, he is a model. He is a mentor. And he has to develop this child. If he doesn't have the skill, it's kind of hard for him to do the best job at all. He can do the best he can, but that's where communications and where understanding comes in on both sides. But the father definitely is up to him to really mold and shape that child after God's order, and do things that will help grow that child into a well-rounded individual. Sons may not understand the reasons behind their father's expectations or demands, leading to resentment and control.
Yeah.
But also a father's love language. Son may not understand how their father expressed love and affection, leading to feelings of neglect or rejection.
A man got a funny way of showing his emotions. He got a funny way of showing how his love. He may not show love like mama show love.
Yes.
But he has love for his children in ways that, like, he might say, well, I'm going to teach you how to wash the car. And I'm going to teach you how to grow fruit. I'm gonna teach you how to do this and that. He shows love in skills instead of sitting down and show the emotional side, that he is emotional, that he got feelings just like you got feelings. It used to hurt me to my heart when my daddy used to tell me, when he getting ready to whip me, chastise me, it's gonna hurt him more.
But that's his love language.
That was his language.
Yes.
To tell me it's gonna hurt him more than it's gonna hurt me, than it's gonna hurt him. Because the thing about it, and my dad would say, okay, go get the switch, go get whatever you got to get, but it's gonna hurt me more if I don't tell you right or wrong.
Oh wow! But I tell you what, there are 10 signs of a good dad.
That's
More than
right.
10 signs, but we're gonna go through some of it. Dependability. Be there through thick and thin. Be consistently available for your kids through good times and bad times.
Involvement. Engage in your kids' lives, interests, hopes, dreams on a daily basis. Be curious, attentive, understanding, and present and engaged.
And that's a key thing, because you wonder why fathers, not fathers, but mothers and sons have such a great
Say
relationship. Mothers and sons.
Right there. We don't need
a man-child loves his mother.
That's right.
He will protect that mom. Tell me why.
Because she gets involved.
She gets involved.
And she holds him up, right or wrong. She teaches him. She's got a way, because she's a nurturer.
Absolutely.
But she's involved. Mamas may not never ever played a basketball game in their lives.
But she's there.
But she's right there with him, encouraging that boy that he can do it. Daddy walking around like, okay,
Daddy sometimes daddy is standing back and won't do the touching or the loving. But not all dads are like that. But I'm saying sometimes dad will let mom take that role, and he is the authoritarian or the more rigid parent. But get involved. It says engage with your kids. Make
That's
sure
right.
you're there for
That's
your kids,
right.
going
Engage.
out there,
yeah.
and also lifting their kids up. Also compassion. Show compassion.
That's right.
Hope and belief when your child needs it most. Compassion builds connection with the child. And so you got to show these feelings and show these emotions. I know men, sometimes hold them back and don't know how to express, but these are some key things in order to be a good dad.
And then you got to have the value of mother.
Ooh, yes.
Respect and love your kid's mother. Validate your partner for who they are and with all their imperfections.
I want to say something, Mr. E, because there's a young man, he's a celebrity type thing, and he will not give props to the baby's mother. He just pulls her into the gutter like, I don't know what. I have never seen anything like it before. And it's just a thing where these children are learning this. He wants to love the children, have the children, but the mother is something that he doesn't even want to do. He does not want to sound anything good toward her way in the public.
But if they don't recognize, they don't realize, if it weren't for the mama, you won't have that child.
Ooh, and the daddy, but especially the mother.
The mama.
Empathy. Put yourself into the shoes of your child and allow them to feel heard. We just said that. Respected and valued, even if you don't completely get it or even like it.
And valuable verbal expression. Communicate clearly. Set boundaries and limits. Be fair without belittling or being controlling.
Be human. We just said that.
That's
you
right.
know, hey, tell them folks you make mistakes. Own your mistakes and be open to feedback. Tell them you got it wrong this time. Hey, I'm not perfect,
That's
but
right.
hey, look,
Honesty.
yes.
Teach and live by the values of honesty and integrity.
Integrity, absolutely. Playfulness, delight in your
No,
children
no,
through
that's
fun
one.
and play.
No,
Come on,
men will never bend and play with their children.
I don't know, but I tell you what, when I go out to the park and stuff, Mr. E, I see fathers with their sons and daughters. It is absolutely beautiful. But also be industrious, have a healthy work ethic, enjoy personal accomplishments and satisfaction, and it's have a valuable attitude toward tasks in general.
Be a good
be
dad.
that daddy. Be that daddy. You can do it, man. And we just appreciate all men and your effort to try to be all that you can be for your sons. And sons, learning and wanting to be the best, wanting to be like your father,
Yeah.
or wanting to be who you are. He's made you, and you want to be in the image of how God wants you to be. It's nothing against your daddy. But look, we'll talk with you soon. A fun Friday. We have a great show for women. What's in your closet? So we'll see you then. Have a wonderful day.
For the past 30 minutes, you've been listening to the most talked about radio show in the whole wide world. That's FYI Radio Show with your host, Miss Yolanda, the Lady Hnton. I'm Ed Everette, the co-host. For more information, you can give us a call at 757-714-7861. That's 757-714-7861. Or you can email us at FYIRadiosHowLive@gmail.com. Don't forget to join us Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 9:30 to 10 right here on WGPL 1350, WPCE 1400, Peach 95.3, and WMVA 88.9, and on all social media platforms. Have a wonderful day now. Bye now.
Wow, that is a relationship, Mr. E. We could talk about forever. Wow. When it's good, it's good. When it goes wrong, it goes wrong. But
That's right.
Thank God at times it can be, put together and made whole. We pray for father and son relationship. It's important for young men to have fathers in their lives or have that male figure, that mentor in their lives, because it helps their development and it helps them to be more well-rounded. And so kudos to you, man.
And that's what it's all about. And it has also, Miss Hnton, to have a strong backing, someone that's going to hold you up, that's going to help you to make the right decision. A lot of people don't understand at midnight. Sometimes at night, fathers go and talk to mama, even if they want to make, but
Absolutely.
you never see that. And she encouraged him to let him know you made the right decision. And when he get too soft, she lets him know you're too soft now.
I tell you what, it is just a joy to behold. And we, like we said, we pray for fathers that they can continue to be strong, that they can pass down great nuggets, to their sons and their sons to their sons and their sons. But you're going to have some little hiccups and roadblocks. But my recommendation is to make sure that you seek help or mediation when things are going wrong.
That's right.
Because you do see things differently, and sons want their independence, and sometimes fathers are afraid for their independence. They don't think they're ready. And they have to, get the courage to let that child go out of the nest.
That's right. These 10 signs will help you along the way if you just love and do them and follow them. Absolutely. Dependable, involvement, compassion, value of the mama, empathy, verbal expression, being human, honesty, playfulness, and being indestructible.
Absolutely. So look, we will be back here on Friday for What's in Your Closet. Great topic for women. We just did our Women's History Month. It was absolutely wonderful. We have some upcoming shows, and we will bring in Dr. Tanya Pass. She's going to give us community information. She's going to call in and let us, talk to her about this church that she's senior pastor over and some of the things that is happening there in her city. Also, immigration.
Yeah, we pretty soon immigration is going to You know, one thing about immigration and the reasons why, if you call in any immigration office, that's a touchy situation. They keeping everything on the DL. You know, you got immigration lawyers, and the lawyers don't want to talk about it because immigration is a touchy situation.
It really is. We'll be there. We'll have that guest talk to us about immigration and deportation. Wow, that's going to be good. Also, Fun Friday, women's issues. And we also want you to join us with Sports Talk. We're talking about the Final Four. We're so excited. I don't know. We're just excited. And we got a lot of NBA news. So join us on, and we have a special guest. Join us on Sports Talk Monday. Okay. Follow us on social media. Visit our sponsors, Bulvic Academy and Beard Gods. That's BULVIC Academy. Beard Gods, BEARDGODZ.com. And check out those websites. Be a special guest, internal sponsor on FYI. Mr. E will tell you the information.
To be a special guest, internal sponsor, all you have to do is give us a call at 757-714-7861. Or you can inbox us at Edward Everett's Facebook page, Miss Yolanda Lady Hnton's Facebook page, or FYI Facebook page, or you can email us at FYIRadioShowLive@gmail.com.
All right, Mr. E is looking mighty dapper. I tell you what, you have a wonderful, wonderful day as you continue your business. And we're going to see you all back here on Fun Friday. Be blessed. Have a wonderful day.
2 up, 2 down. VA.